Alrighty, so I got the recording going. I'm going to share my screen as well. Okay, so we are going to use Alia, which is the student that Lisa gave us. Whenever you first log into DegreeWorks, you need to refresh the student's data always. And this just makes sure that you are getting the most accurate information according to Banner. This used to be, oh, hello, Diana. This used to be automatic. It was a nightly process, but do you guys remember last October when Banner and everything else was down for like several days? So what happened was one of our third-party vendors actually accidentally deleted our virtual servers, which was a big deal, right? IT had to rebuild everything. And this is just one of those things that for some reason we can't get it figured out on the back end. So the workaround is just refreshing a student every time you view their DegreeWorks information. And that just makes sure that, you know, all grades, the major, catalog year, any of that information, registered courses, stuff like that, is just the most up to date. So for Aaliyah, is she in her second year, Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So she still has, you know, some gen ed courses that she's working on, and obviously, you know, her major in biology as well. So let's go ahead. We're going to use Aaliyah as an example for the student educational plans. Now, all that is a, you know, it's very similar to what you may have for some of your students right now, where it's just their individualized semester to semester plan. So fall 2020, she's going to take these courses, and spring 2021, these are the courses that she's going to take, right? It's just laying that out semester to semester. So we're going to create a new plan for Aaliyah, and we're just going to do a blank plan because the templates will pull in every single course according to those suggested sequence of courses on some of those degree sheets. If a student has started their program, if they have any coursework, any credits, it's much easier to use a blank plan because if you bring in the template, you're going to be deleting courses and moving them around so much more. It's just a lot easier to just start from scratch and not have to delete and then add courses. So let's start her plan for fall 2020, and we'll put in her fall and potentially her spring as well. It is up to you guys on what you want to call your plans. You could just say, you know, biology AS. You could name it something else, but I feel like biology AS makes sense, right? It's the plan for her biology associate's degree. A student can have hundreds of plans, you know, if they wanted to make a bunch of them for whatever reason. However, only one plan can be marked active, and that is the plan that will be used for reporting purposes. So the big benefit of student educational plans is that we will be able to pull reports and say, okay, for spring 2021, what classes do students have in their plan? What classes do students plan on taking? What about this fall? What about next spring? And that's going to help us with our future course planning. And after about a year or two, we're going to be able to look at some of those trends and get our courses on a rotation. You know, which just means instead of having to decide every year if we're going to offer a course or not, we know that, you know, psychology, intro to psych is offered every semester or maybe every fall, but those less, those courses that have less enrollment, so maybe some, you know, 300-400 level courses, maybe we only need to offer them every other year or every other spring, and we can get the courses on rotation. So even if they're not planned yet through the registrar's office, if there's not a section yet, we can have some sort of idea on when those courses will be offered because they're all on a rotation. That's long-term goal for the student educational plans, the SEPs, but that is our ultimate goal for them. You can lock a plan, which just means that no one else can edit it, and it also turns on tracking. So we'll lock that, save. For the plan, we can see it's, we labeled it Biology AS. It's for the Associate in Science undergrad degree. We have it active and locked, and the tracking status is turned on. All that does is lets us know if a student is on track or off track according to the plan that we create for them. So then right before you guys start advisement each semester, we can go ahead and pull a report, and I can give you a list of all the students that are off track because they're either they dropped a course from this semester, they failed a course, or they just didn't end up registering for the courses that you had planned for them to take. You probably know those students off the top of your head, but to take some of the weight off your shoulders, I guess we can always pull the report to know for sure as well.
And Deanna, that's probably 85% of our students.
Right, yeah. So how many students would you guys say that you have each individually that you advise?
Well, right now we probably, but maybe almost 100 apiece.
100 apiece, okay. So about 85 students get off track of their plan, right? So
that was a rough estimate, yeah.
Right, yeah. So about that many. So it may be beneficial, for you guys to have that sort of report, right? Or at least just confirm, okay, these are the students that I had in my mind. These are the ones that are definitely off track, just to confirm. Basically, it's just touching base on more than one spot to make sure that our, students aren't falling behind. So we can, I can always pull those reports for you, or we can give you access to do that. But that's a whole nother application and a whole nother set of training and stuff. So we'll just go ahead.
We'll at this point we'll ask for them until we get more attached to it and want them.
Okay, so Lisa, do you know what courses Aaliyah is taking this fall?
I'd have to look back, and that's one thing I kind of find a little frustrating here is we have to keep looking back, don't we?
So you can, however, you can toggle between worksheets and plans without having to re-enter the student's information. In the previous version of DegreeWorks, you had to search for the student every single time. So what I've just been telling people to do is just have two tabs open, right? You have one tab with plans, and you have the other one with their worksheet displayed. So give me a sec. Okay. So in progress. Right now, she is taking 5 courses and a lab. Okay. So to add a course to the plan, it's actually very simple. You see this little add button? You just hit add and search by the course title. So we know she's taking chemistry. We're going to add that. And actually, this is much easier if I just maximize it. And she's taking the chemistry lab. You do not have to search a class and then add, search a class and then add. You can search all the classes and then add them all at once. So you take out, a little step in between each one. Indigenous film, that is a transfer credit. But FDMA 3399, is that a topics course?
That's special topics, right?
Topics, okay.
Oops.
Did I not?
Maybe it's not.
We can search we can search by the subject code, so we'll do that in a sec. I just want to make sure we get all of these current courses in. So United States History 1, College Algebra, and Intro to Ethics. Okay. And then we can search by
the FDMA should have pulled it up for you. There you go.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking too. Oh, it's just topics, not special topics. Okay. So we searched all those courses. We selected them. We can see them all here at the bottom. We'll add them to the plan. So we have 19 credits. And she's taking 16. So FDMA 33.99. In Banner.
Sure, it's a 3 credit. Yeah.
Yeah, in Banner for some reason though it's marked as 6 credits. That's totally fine. That doesn't throw it off at all. It just.
Oh, and we can't change it, huh?
Well, I'll reach out to Janice and see what's going on.
Many of those topics courses have a range of credits.
Right. So I bet that's what's going on, and then they change it for each student. So that doesn't affect anything as long as you have the courses in here. It just totals the credits up at the top, so you know, right? Because you need to know how many credits your student is taking per semester, right? Do you have Aaliyah's spring semester planned out yet?
No.
No? Okay. So this is what her fall 2020 schedule is right now. And she is taking these courses. She's registered for them, currently in progress. So it says that she's on track, all right? Now, if we were to add a course, Metalworking 1, which she is obviously not registered for, not going to take, right? We'll add it to the plan. And now it lets us know that she's off track because for fall 2020, she's not taking this ABR 111 course, right? And she's not going to. So we get a little warning and it says that she's off track. We can easily delete requirements too. Simply delete. Something else you guys can do for these student educational plans is you can add as many terms as you want, right? So she's gonna have a spring 2021 term. She's also gonna have a fall 2021 term. She might have a summer term. You can add that in too. And if you ever need to, you can drag and drop courses instead of deleting them from one column and adding them to another, because that's way more work than necessary. So we'll just drag that back over. Something else you guys can do is add comments. So if you don't know for sure what a student wants to take, we could just say, must add 3 upper division electives. If they need to, 3 upper division electives. You can select the term that you want to apply that to and the type of placeholder that you want it. So we just have the placeholder here that says, she must take the 3 upper division electives. That's if you don't want to or can't put in a specific course because you simply don't know what she's going to take. However, with student educational plans, we don't know what's going to be offered. So,
Right.
like for next fall. So we don't know, then what's going to be in the student's plan. However, having it in the student's plan, as long as we have enough students to offer the course and it's in their plan, the college is going to do everything in their power to offer that course. So for the first about year and a half, maybe 2 years, it's going to be a supply and demand. So what students have in their plan, we are going to try and offer our classes accordingly. And then after that is when we're going to be able to see the trends and get our courses on rotation. So it's 2 different types of course planning, but for the first little bit, it's that supply and demand, and then course rotation is what we'll transition to after that. So if you would like a student to take, FDMA 33.99, but you don't know if it's going to be offered or, history 1110, whatever it is, put it in their plan, because we can always go back and change the plans. That's no problem. You save this, you can come back later and change it. You can come back before an advisement next spring and change it as well. The plans aren't set in stone. They're existing or the reason why we're using them is to give us a better idea on what we need to be offering, because we have too many students that get close to graduation and just don't have all the classes that they need. You know, they might have 1 or 2 classes left for their degree plan, but we haven't offered them, or maybe we offered it, but we didn't offer it, or the last time we offered it was their freshman year, but it's a 400 level business class. You know, why would they have taken that? So we just need this hard data to know exactly what our students need and when they need it, because we have a lot of students that are, you know, getting transfer credits somewhere else, or just transferring out completely because the classes can be guaranteed and promised at other institutions compared to Northern. So the whole goal of student educational plans is to help us with our future course planning, but also in a time where we're doing virtual advisement, it's really nice to have this here for students to also view, because students can view their plans that you create for them, but they can't edit them or anything like that. So when it comes time for registration, you know, you guys get this worked out together, and then if they're ever wondering, well, what was it that I'm going to register for again, they can come back here and look. Additionally, with student educational plans, we can do an audit. And this is called the planner audit. And it pulls up the regular DegreeWorks audit like it normally would, but then it also has those courses that are in the plan as well. So, you know, for her chemistry course, it says in progress because she's taking it right now, right? But if we had courses in for spring 2021, it would just say plan because it's in the student's plan. So let's, let me show you guys exactly what I mean. Let's say she's going to take critical thinking and science this spring.
Has anyone noticed if we're offering it this time? We should be.
I haven't looked, to be honest.
Okay. So now we do the audit, the planner audit, and we can see that that critical thinking and science is in her plan.
So what I didn't see was what audit you did. What did you push in terms of the audit?
Right here. So this audit, same thing.
Inside the plan.
Yep, inside the plan. And the reason why the courses in the planner don't display in the regular audit, the regular worksheet, is simply because there's nothing tying the students down to the plan, right? They can register for other courses, you can change your plan and such. So there needs to be the option to see the audit with the courses that are planned and see the audit with the courses that a student is actually taking, right? Because the plan is, in an ideal world, this is what the student would take, but that may change, right? And you can also change the planner to at any time, depending on what they actually end up taking and such. But if you want to see an audit or a what-if analysis that also has the planned courses, you can do that. But you have to be in the planner to do that. So we do an audit with this one, or a what-if. So the what-if operates just like it normally does. If she's thinking about, you know, maybe changing her major to chemistry, or maybe she's changing it to, you know, accounting, whatever it is, the what-if analysis is going to operate like it normally would, but it's also going to include the plans, or include the courses that you have within the plan as well.
Okay.
Do you guys have questions? What questions do you have?
Will DegreeWorks show transfer credits if it's a student that's transferred in?
Yep, as long as the registrar's office has transferred those courses, because the registrar's office doesn't bring in every single course off of a student's transcript, right? So as the courses that they have done that for, though, those do display in DegreeWorks. So do you have a student in particular that you know that has transfer credit?
Not the top of my head, because I've been mostly meeting with first years all week. If I can find one.
Yeah, that'd be great. So as a reminder, anything that you do in DegreeWorks, we can delete it, right? So like if you just mess up something horribly and you're like, I have no idea what just happened, but this does not look right, we can delete it. Like it is so easy to fix. So for this plan, we need to unlock it so we can delete it. But if we go to plan list, we can delete it. Real easy, right? And now that's no longer there. And like I said, each plan or each student can only have one active plan, and that is the plan that's used for reporting purposes. So if you have a student that is thinking, well, I don't know if I want to do biology or if I want to do accounting instead, you could have two different plans, one with their, current major, which would be for Aaliyah, biology, but then you could also have an accounting plan as well. It wouldn't be marked active, so it wouldn't be used in reporting purposes, but you guys could see it in case, she was very on the fence about which major she wanted to do and just wanted to see what a few of her semesters might look like. You could do that. Did you find that student inversion?
I was just looking at the contact log. There's a student Gwen works with that she marked as transfer. Can you look at that student, Gwen?
I don't know which student it is, but yeah, we can take a look.
Kaylee Chavez. And her student ID is 74846.
Okay, so for Kaylee, we got her pulled up. Like I said before, for every student, you just got to make sure that you refresh. And she is an electromechanical engineering student, right?
Looks that way.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because we've had this conversation before, Lisa, where some students get advised for a particular degree, even if it's not the degree that they have declared within Banner, which isn't super uncommon, especially for first-year students or second-year students. They might change their mind quite a bit because they haven't taken a ton of their major-specific courses, so switching majors is sometimes, relatively easy for them. It's not like they're out of a ton of credits and such, so I just wanted to make sure that she is actually an electromechanical engineering student. So you said that she likely has transfer courses. Oh yeah, so here's a good one. Her English is a transfer course.
So that's how it shows up.
Yep, for grade, it'll show TR. So we know that that's a transfer course. However, for some reason, I don't know who it is in the registrar's office, she's not taking this English at a different school right now, right, Gwen? She's a full-time Northern student?
Yes.
Yeah. So for some reason, somewhere in the registrar's office, some of the transfer credits for transcripts that they received this fall, they entered fall 2020 as the term, even though she took it some other time, but they entered this term. However, regardless, for the grade, it's always going to show TR for transfer credits. Let's see if she has some more. Her Intro to Engineering is a transfer course, and those will all display there. She has some other transfer courses, so
all of those should not say, well, obviously what they're doing is they're giving the date they transferred it in.
Right, exactly, not the date that she actually took it, which it doesn't affect anything, but it makes it sometimes confusing because, I mean, you guys are the experts.
It gives us a better picture of what's going on if the dates are accurate.
Right,
if we know something about when they took it. However, I'm not at all surprised by this, and I have a feeling this might be the way they like to do it.
Yeah, I had asked Robert about it because I was confused by it. I think I'd met with Sandra, And I was like, is this student taking classes right now and transferring them in? And she said, no, these were taken like 2 years ago or something like that. And I had asked the registrar's office about it. And Robert had said, he's like, nope, it should, the term should be the term that they took it. So,
right, because there's certain courses that you don't get to count for very long. Let's say it's a chemistry class, right? And you're in a nursing program. Well, it can't be 5 or 6 years old.
mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. So, so yeah, that's, he said that he was looking into it, though I have a feeling he is extremely busy right now. So I'll send him an email again. Let me.
We're not panicked about it. I mean, it'd be a nice thing to have straight in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And so I know that you guys are a lot more familiar with these students, right? Because you're the ones that are working with them. However, if somebody's to look at these students, me, for example, I would assume that this student is taking the courses right now, right? And the fact that they're already transferred in as credits is just, it is confusing. So I'll send an email because in the future, this is something that I believe I will be looking into, but this is my first week technically under the registrar's office. So it's good for me to learn and, get this stuff figured out. So yeah, Ambrosia, it does show transfer courses. Something else with DegreeWorks that you can now do is over here, if you click on these 3 little dots, we can see a class history. So this is basically an unofficial transcript of all the courses that a student has taken, whether they're transfer credits or courses that the student has taken at Northern. However, this obviously looks extremely weird because it's not like she's taken all of these courses fall 2020. That's just how the credits got transferred in. So if you're looking at this class history and there's a course on here or there's a course that's not on here that should be transferred in, it just means that even if it is on the transcripts, the registrar's office hasn't transferred it in yet. So whether it be, I don't know how much you guys work with that. I know the faculty advisors do quite a bit, but I'm assuming you do too, right?
Well, it certainly affects us, but not as much as it would the transfer.
Okay.
Yeah,
And we need to know what they've taken. So we often work with unofficial transcripts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
During the transition of a semester when they are transferring in, even, early on, I would say most of registration, as we're working with students that are transferring in, we work off of unofficial transcripts because the registrar's office hasn't officially transferred any of their credits in.
Right.
So I'm wondering, a lot of times it's black and white. You know what UNM's English Comp 1 is versus ours, and it's right there.
Right.
A lot of times what, they call a course a little something different. For example, computer science for all, that our degree needs, that maybe they took at UNM that isn't named the same thing. So, a lot of times I'll use my common sense and say, well, that's going to count for this, but sometimes it may not. So I'm just wondering about the little glitches like that happen anyway, and how it'll affect, what we see here and how we have to interpret some things sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think everybody has that frustration. I know for a fact that when transcripts get sent to Northern, they go to the admissions office first for some reason. And that's how most colleges work, right? They have it sent to admissions. So it has to go through admissions and then it gets passed on to the registrar's office. And so they don't get it right away, even if the transcript's been received. So one, it takes a while for them to get the transcript, and there's no, we don't have like a transfer evaluator within the registrar's office, right? We don't have somebody that's looking at this stuff all the time. So I know for a fact that Robert is trying to figure out a way to make this process quicker and more, I guess, just unified on exactly what we do transfer in, and just the process of getting courses transferred in, because it takes a while, right? And like you said, some of them are really easy, right? To say, well, this makes sense. It is basically a direct transfer. But some of them always aren't. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but I know that he is trying to figure out a much better process for it, because I think you guys and every other advisor is having the same issues with that. So I know that's not like a great answer. I know that it is something that he's working on. I just don't know exactly what or when that's going to be, unfortunately.
Right. That's been a big backlog lately.
Yeah.
And
So
it should be better now we have more people.
Hopefully, yes. And also with the Common Course numbering system, hopefully that helps out quite a bit too. But we have students that, took courses years ago, and those courses don't apply to the Common Course numbering system. However, with Banner, there is a way to basically document all of the transfer work that you have taken from other colleges. It's basically creating a table that said, okay, this class from this school is the equivalent of this class at Northern. And there is a way to do that in Banner. It's basically adding an extra step into the current transfer credit process, but there is a way to do that in Banner, and that's something that this next year, so not immediately, but that's something within the next year that I hope to take on as a project, because that would make it so much easier, right? You guys would be able to look it up and say, okay, well, this course from UNM is the equivalent of this course at Northern.
I'm familiar with having those kinds of tables before, but they were never totally official, and the state has really made everything so much stricter about having exactly the same course and the same content. So, but the reality is, for us, it's not as hard as it is for the other faculty, because we're dealing with gen eds.
Right.
We're working with students in the first 30 credits, a little more maybe. But generally we're dealing with gen eds, and those are approved at the state level, and it's pretty clear.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point. Yeah. So hopefully you guys could benefit from something like that in the future, but it doesn't sound like it's causing any major issues for you right now. It would just be, it would add some convenience maybe for you guys.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. For DegreeWorks, do you guys have any other questions on just DegreeWorks in general, or the student educational plans?
I have a question regarding that transition that students see us, for their first 2 semesters into their 3rd semester, where we should be transitioning them to their program advisor. Is there a way within DegreeWorks that transition is a little clearer, and we can maybe even know, referred student to programmed advisor, or that way it's just part of the history of what we've done with the student, I guess?
Yeah, so in DegreeWorks, you can document notes all you want. The students can't see these notes, but notes do technically become part of the student record. So I think I told you guys this last fall, but I don't see this happening, but Aleutian had warned me. So the DegreeWorks parent company said that whatever is put in the notes does become student record, or part of the student record. So if for some reason a student is trying to sue the college, everything can get subpoenaed, right? So if you met with a student once and they were just being a jerk and you put in there, the student is a total jerk, I can't stand him, what a mess, that would be part of the student record. So, I mean, obviously, just keep it professional. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. So you can add the notes. Also, would it be beneficial? I'm thinking, so for all students, Kaylee doesn't have any holds, but if she were to have any academic or financial aid holds, they would display up here. So you guys know in case anything is holding up registration. I'm assuming there is a way to add advisor here as well. Would it be beneficial for you guys to know who their advisor is? Because I believe from the get-go, they get assigned a faculty advisor, depending on what their program is.
For sure, like in this instance, engineering, they do want to start working with their students right away.
Okay.
And the fact that Kaylee's a transfer student, she should be working with someone in engineering. So to have her advisor there would be helpful for sure, I think, in engineering.
I would agree that it would never hurt to have the faculty advisor there. The reality is the faculty advisor is only as accurate as their choice of major was when they came.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a little iffy for those first 30 credits.
Right.
But it wouldn't hurt for us to see it. Okay.
So I can definitely, I know there's a way to do it, but it's one of those things where it's not built into DegreeWorks to add that. So we'll have to, probably have to give me a week to meet with Lucian and get it in there, but we'll get it in there.
That's fine. That's fine. It's we have access to that information, but there's no reason it shouldn't be there.
Awesome. So, you can always add in notes, but also, so with these plans, just thinking about, the transition from you guys to their faculty advisor. If you unlock a plan, the faculty advisor can then go and start editing that plan. So let's say, you have a plan for Kaylee for her first, 30 credits or so, right? And it is now time for her to transition from you guys to her faculty advisor. The faculty advisor can then come in, add the terms, and start making Kaylee's plan accordingly. Or if do you guys work directly with any of the faculty advisors to help with that transition?
Well, we certainly we certainly do at times.
Mm-hmm.
We always communicate with them, or maybe not quite always, but very often we let them know that they've been transferred over to them. But
Okay.
typically we all just end up making new degree audits,
Right.
Obviously with DegreeWorks, we won't be doing that.
Right. So
sometimes we share the ones.
Okay. So with the SEPs and DegreeWorks, the faculty advisor then wouldn't have to create a completely new plan. They can build off of the work that you guys have already done. I know from our meeting last week, Lisa, you were saying that regarding at least the courses that are offered, that's where the transition sometimes gets quite a bit more difficult. What courses is a student going to take and what should they be taking to make that transition smooth into their major specific courses. This might be a little bit easier than using the SEPs to get that figured out, because then you and the faculty member can, if it works out for you guys, granted it's up to you on how you want to do this, but the SEPs and DegreeWorks would allow you guys to be a little bit more collaborative in creating a plan together. Or just faculty.
Well, certainly being able to share the records is great.
Mm-hmm.
I can assure you that starting to find actual time for faculty, advisors, and us to collaborate seems like a long shot, but who knows?
I kind of figured, but however you guys, want to make it work. But I would, and granted, I'm not an advisor, so maybe this is a bit naive of me. I would assume, though, that transition would get to be a little bit more transparent and a little bit easier when you guys can both view all of the same information. And then also, if you have the plan in here for a student, then they're not moving on to the faculty advisor, and the faculty advisor undoing anything that you had already done, basically, or not having an idea on how you advised. Does that make sense? Because the record's here, then you can see what you had the student take, what you suggested, and any comments that you had as well.
Right.
So, for example, for the notes tab, if we go to that, there's no notes for the student right now. I could add a note that says, there's these predefined ones you do not have to use, but I could say, suggested student take whatever course because XYZ, or just, anything that you want to put in there. It's honestly up to you. You could even, I have a feeling that you guys probably have students sometimes that aren't doing so hot academically, and you have to warn them, like, if you don't bring your GPA up, you could suffer some serious consequences, whether it be financial aid or having to retake a bunch of courses. If you want to document that sort of stuff, you are more than welcome to. Anything that you want to put in there, you can. It is totally up to you guys because you are the advisor.
I think that part's really clear. I don't think any of us would question that. I think, yeah. And we are very aware that we have to be careful with whatever language we put in there. And the other reality is we all have bunches of students we work with who may or may not follow our recommendations. And to be honest, I think most of them do, but then something comes up and something switches it, right?
Right.
One of their friends is in somebody else's class, and now wouldn't that be better?
So there's also, sorry, I forgot to mention this, with the plans, with the student educational plans, SEPs, there's also a notes function that is tied specifically to that plan. So we can create, and it's right here on the plan. So you can create a plan and then throw in any notes that you may think be beneficial for you, another advisor, or anybody else that's looking at the plan. Students cannot see notes, though. I think I had already mentioned that. They can't see that. So feel free to, I guess put in whatever you want, within reason, obviously, like we said. But so the notes don't have to be tied to the student just in general. They can be tied to a plan specifically as well, which may be better than for your, advisement related comments and such. So what other comments, questions, concerns?
Well, I think that, I think we'll give this all a try. I think what we'll find, to be honest, is that it's pretty hard to build 2 semesters at a time. What I kind of envision, well, we'll give the 2 semesters at a time a try. What I kind of imagine is we try to meet with students early in the next semester, and that's actually a great time to build on that plan. But in the meantime, I know you guys want it the sooner the better, but most of our students at their very early phase of their education aren't really going to make sense of these 2 semesters building up at a time. I think that would just be a really good use of our time for our check-in meetings. And we do have check-in meetings when we meet with the students about week 4 or 5.
Mhm.
I can't help but think that would be a more productive time for us to actually do that.
To get the next semester built out.
Yeah.
And that would, that's totally fine. I think that's a great idea. You can also, you know, build the 2 semesters, and then at your 4 or 5 week meeting, you know, you can edit it, move it around, do whatever you want. Just as a reminder, because you can edit it and move classes around and all that good stuff. You know, it's not set in stone. I just want to throw that out there again.
Right. And there's certain things that, you know, wouldn't hurt to build forward. I mean, you know, when you're taking English 109 this semester, next semester will be English 1110. There's some things that'll work like that.
Mhm.
What the reality is with first semester students is they're learning a lot about their degree plans. They don't
Right.
understand their degree plans.
Mhm.
So seeing the version that we show them all the time, and seeing this version, and seeing the plan, we're going to have to work and think very intentionally about how to make this, you know, kind of a nice stepping stone to understanding more and more about their programs.
Right. Ideally, though, so I just want to throw this out there. We are hoping to use the student educational plans, the SEPs, at least on a trial basis for planning fall semesters. So if at some point, yeah, you can get that fall semester in there, that would be super great. I think for your office specifically, it's going to be a lot easier because some students are, or most of your students are in their, you know, the first half of their degree plan at least.
And that's not a problem. Doing that, that's what I'm really comfortable with, is saying about week 4 or 5.
Right.
And that's for fall. So there's more time involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we would be able to get that information in at a time that was still useful for you.
Yeah, I think you guys will be a really good guinea pig group. Now, you don't have to do anything, but just for me to look, and because, you know, like you said, general education courses, they're very set in stone. You know, there's not a lot of wiggle room for them. So looking at the SEPs and the reporting that we can do from it, I think will be very easy for chairs, the registrar's office, and I to look at, especially with your guys' students, because they're primarily, you know, taking general education courses. So I appreciate you guys doing this and willing to try this out with us, because I think at least for your office, I think it's going to be a lot easier to understand the reporting and the back end stuff that we need to do, so we can try to plan, you know, courses accordingly.
Gotcha.
I appreciate you guys taking this time. Any other comments, questions, concerns, so I don't keep you guys over that hour?
I'm sure we'll have lots of questions as we go along. And I did see another quirky thing the other day. What was it? I had another student I jotted down because I can't remember who it was. Oh, I said Deanna, but it was Marissa. Pull up this number real quick. 69629. To be honest, I can't remember what the problem was right now, but this is her.
So she's a dual credit student?
No.
Oh, sorry, we just had to refresh. So she's a business admin AA.
And something was funky about this. Let's take a quick peek down, see if we can figure out what it was. Well, it looks like I'm not going to remember what it was, but it was another case where I had something. Yeah, look at all that. Courses not to apply to audit. When this is the student that I told you that she thought she had worked with you over the summer, but she worked with me over the summer, and I'm the one that put her in that intro to art class. And she's kind of up in arms because it may not be
She might not need it.
usable. Right, right.
Wait, did you say that she thought she worked with me?
No, she thought she worked with Gwen.
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, no, I don't work with any student.
So Gwen, no, don't worry. Gwen, but I had given Gwen a heads up that this student was upset. Well, it turned out it was me. So.
So when we had first pulled her up, she was, before I had refreshed her, she was marked as an undeclared high school student, which would be dual credit students. So maybe that's why it was looking weird.
But that's too funny because I worked with her yesterday and I could have sworn I refreshed her.
So the refresh, the last time that was done was 9 days ago, October 14th. So I don't know why it would.
Never mind. I mean, I jotted it down and I wanted to check something and I guess what I was checking was, and maybe I did forget to refresh and that might be the whole reason, but I was just checking to see if maybe the business office, the business department was going to take some of those electives.
Yeah, well, even if you refreshed it last week though, I don't know why it would still be like that. If it was at the beginning of the semester, I might understand a little bit more, but even as of October 14th, I don't know why she would still be marked as a dual credit student. That's odd.
Well, then that's not what I saw. Anyway, let's drop this because I don't really remember what my question was.
It's working now, so.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Gwen, Diana, Ambrosia, do you guys have any more comments, questions, concerns?
No, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I do. I have a something, I guess, quirky as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can answer. The other day I went in here, refreshed, and I was working with a nursing student, and now I wish I had her ID number, but I don't have it in front of me, and I don't even remember her name. But when I was scrolling down to see this, so I guess my question is, how tailored is what they need in DegreeWorks to the actual degree? Because the reason I ask is in the nursing program, it's such a tailored degree to get them ready to apply for the program.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went in to check it out, the astronomy is in there and sciences that I know won't even help them get into the program. So that concerned me a little bit, because if the student has access to this and they see that they think they can take astronomy when really they can't, is that something for each? And I know engineering is very specific as well with the sciences they need. For science is just an example of
Right.
courses.
Yeah. So I get what you're asking. So technically, for gen ed requirements, they have the option to take astronomy, though they shouldn't, because it's not going to benefit them, right? But technically they have that option. So that's why it's listed as a possible option. So everything that you see in DegreeWorks is tailored very specifically to the program, but also taking into consideration curriculum rules. So for gen ed, I mean, the list of astronomy courses, I think there's the list of science courses, I think there's 6, 7, 8 of them, at least of the new catalogs that they can take. So it's very specific what they can take. However, when you have a program like nursing, it's even more specific on what they should take. So even though they can take astronomy, it's not going to help them. That's what you're saying, right? I just want to make sure I understood correctly. Yeah. So,
and Gwen, I'm curious if we have a really good pre-nursing DegreeWorks, because I think that day that we were looking at that, it might have been a RN to BSN, which is, this is another thing that we keep finding, is that sometimes people are slightly off on what they think their major is. And nobody stops somebody from signing up for RN to BSN when they don't have an RN yet. There's
Right.
no way they're RN to BSN yet. So I think maybe what we should do is do a little exploration and see what we have for pre-nursing, because that's something that, you know, Ellen's always been in agreement on. We need to develop a clearer actual degree plan for those folks. I'm
Right.
sorry, guys, but I gotta go, but you're welcome to keep going. I've got an appointment, so
Yeah,
I'll
so
see
I have
ya.
to go as well. I
okay,
have an appointment now at 10.
Gwen, if you don't mind staying on for just a few minutes to relay this to Lisa, that would be super great. I just want to show you something that I've done with the business students. Let me see if I can find one where it says this. Okay, so perfect example for business students. And this was from a conversation that I had with Lori Baca. The BA 205 or BUSA 2130 is technically what's required for the stats class for business students. It's I think just business or business math or something like that, because business statistics is down here, or no? Anyways, we can add a comment for those. We can add a comment like this for those nursing gen ed courses for the science. So we can say it is recommended that students take these courses for general education science, but we'll still have all of the options listed, even though, you know, it's not recommended that they take astrology or whatever other science courses, but they have that option. However, we can then add a comment like this or like this that says it is recommended that students take these courses.
Oh, I love that.
So
Like for us, but this note here, it might already be in the other degree plans, but you know, it even for us, in place of, that's perfect. Yeah, it's something, I think it would be, you know, more black and white for us as we're helping students to explain to them, this is what this program is requiring, and this is how you can replace it if you want to pursue the nursing program or whatever. Yeah.
so you if you guys let me know exactly what you would like that comment to say, we can add something. It could say, you know, nursing students should take this course.
Maybe that, maybe, you know, for Ellen, that would be, the notation there should come from her, because because it is pretty, you know, they have to take 12 credit hours, for example, of sciences, but I think that the wording of that because there's two, anatomy 1 and anatomy 2, that are for sure, but then they have a choice between intro to chem and biology and another one.
Right.
So maybe that should match how the degree is already kind of set up for the AAS nursing.
That's what I'm thinking. So it would be simple as, oh man, something as simple as, okay, let's see, what's the nursing, NU 26, okay. So let me find the nursing section. So I would basically just put a comment right here, mark, that says nursing students should take, what is it recommended that they take?
So it's a little tricky. This is where
so the required, oh, sorry.
yeah, it's 12 credit hours, but I know the last one could be taken in their first year of the program.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to apply, they need at least, like at least 8 credit hours. It's in the nursing degree right now, and it's very informational. So I don't know how to simplify that enough to
Okay.
but
No, that's fine. I think if you and Lisa could get together with Ellen to figure out something that works for you guys both, because you're working with nursing students and so are the nursing faculty, something that makes sense for you guys, and if you just let me know, I can add in those remarks and those comments, so all the possible options are still there. But we can add in those comments and those suggestions and such to help you guys out, to help students out, and we can add those all over the place too. So if there's other majors where you think, or other gen ed sections where you think that would be beneficial for you guys, definitely let me know. It's super easy. It's literally just adding in a comment, but then it's going to be there for all of your students, or at least the ones that the majors or the general education sections that you want it there for. So ultimately, that's just going to help you guys out and help the students out. So whatever comments or remarks you want in there, let me know, and putting them in is super, super stinking easy. And if that's going to help you guys out, I would love to do that for you. So
to Lisa, and maybe another one is engineering, just because I know that those 2 degrees specifically aren't as broad with the gen eds as the other degrees. So maybe between Lisa and I, we could come up with something to ask Ellen and Ahmad about, just wording it so that it matches, so that it's clear,
right.
that it matches what they have in place. The nursing degree specifically, just because students have to meet the gen ed requirements before they can even apply to be in the program. So it'd be nice just to have the notation so that us as advisors, we have that information, and then the students can translate that fairly easy as well.
Yeah, and it's just going to help you guys out too.
For sure, yeah.
If it's all there, you're not having to refer to the catalog somewhere and just all this different stuff. So cool.
Yes.
I'll let you go.
Okay.
As long as you guys can all agree on something, I don't care who approves it or anything.
Okay.
Because adding in a comment like that, it's nothing official, right? It's not like changing a course or anything.
Not very wordy, right? Is there so many characters we're allowed there or something? Or?
No, we can make it as long as it needs to be, but obviously, I mean, the shorter and the simpler it is, it can just the cleaner it'll look and the easier it is for people to understand.
The way the nursing degree is now in on the website, I think that's what students refer to right now, to see what they need to apply and all that. If you'd ever get a chance to take a look at that, it's the information for application it's all right there, but it's a lot of information. So there's no way we could translate that into this, so, but I will ask Ellen, especially when it comes to the sciences, how we can word it so that they understand and we understand. I mean, I already do because I've been doing it for so long, but just something for any new advisor that may come in, or
it's just nice to have those little reminders right there too. And if everything can be in DegreeWorks and it all makes sense,
and it all matches.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point, making sure everything matches and it's consistent. Yeah, spot on.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for staying on a little bit longer with me, Gwen.
Thank you. Yeah, let me know if I can be of assistance to you, and I think this will be a good thing in the end. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, oh, and last thing, if you ever want to get on just a one-on-one meeting to go over some of your advisees in particular in DegreeWorks, just to make sure you know that you're understanding it and you know we're on the same page and stuff, in case you have any questions, let me know. That's pretty easy to do, and my schedule is ridiculously flexible. So
okay, sounds
awesome.
good.
Well, have a good weekend, Gwen.
Thank you. You too.
Alrighty, bye-bye.
Bye.